Welcome to Season 2, Episode 5 of The View with VERTEX. I'm joined today by a very special guest. It's none other than Mr. Clive Dickin, new CEO of the NASC.
Thank you very much, Isaac. Pleasure to be here.
Welcome, Clive. First and foremost, before we kick off, big shout out to
NFB, National Federation of Builders. Yeah, we're here in their Knutsford head office. Very pleased that we could meet up in the northwest.
It's a great place as well. Knutsford's a lovely part of the world.
It is a very nice part of the world.
Shame about the weather, but that's just that's the northwest, isn't it?
I'm not saying another word about the northwest.
Well, we'll talk more about the NFB as we go through, because some exciting sort of collaborations between NASC and NFB. But we kind of wanted to get a bit of a background on sort of yourself and how the role as CEO with NASC came about.
Sure. Well, I mean, I've been working in membership bodies for some 25 plus years. Initially getting into them, ironically, working at Heights with mobile elevated work platforms. An organisation called Hire Association Europe commissioned me to write and develop a range of courses for them. Fast forward a few years later, working within several trade bodies in between, within the construction sector, NFB being one of them. Saw this wonderful opportunity for this organisation called NASC. And of course, NASC is an amazing organisation representing 80% of the sector's paid and contracted turnover in 2021 scaffolding and access equipment. So why on earth would I not want to be a leader and be part of the organisation that is so fundamental in setting the standards for the sector?
Yeah, I mean, from my personal perspective, obviously, we all, I mean, LinkedIn's like the place at the minute where everyone sort of gets the news around the scaffolding industry. But I mean, from my initial sort of viewing of as you've come into the role, it just seems like this. I don't know whether explosion's a bit of an exaggeration in terms, but it just seems to be this such a drive towards greater visibility and
absolutely. I mean, NASC is recognised for its standard setting. It's recognised by many of its members for the great work, and the members are at the heart, the beating heart of what the scaffolding and access sector gets through projects like TG20, through SG6, and we're bringing out a range of new guidance. So our health and safety and mental health awareness, we'll be shortly making a really important announcement. That's all been really recognised by the membership. But guess what? We've hidden NASC really well, like under a bush almost, of not making it as visible. And so, yeah, we're going to be very visible. We're going to be talking a lot more about what NASC does, not just within the sector, but actually with the clients. And we've made a number of initiatives prior to me joining, information members as an example, where we're really keen to engage the clients, National Federation of Builders being a classic example. 64 billion in actual turnover, construction turnover, roughly 3% of that is scaffolding. We've got to communicate. So it's only natural that now, a few weeks in, I'm on LinkedIn, we're making sure we're seeing the clients, we're seeing members, and we're getting our message out there.
It's almost like into a world tour, isn't it? It's like every time I go on my newsfeed, you're in a different location with a different scaffolding contractor. I really think that's what's been missing.
I don't disagree. Look, NASC has organically grown. One of the key things I'm very keen about doing is making sure we've got some very clear direction of travel, putting a business plan together, putting a structure together, knowing what our next objectives are really, really key, not only for the team, but also the membership. We've got to get out and be seen with the membership. We've got to talk to the membership. We've got to hear what the membership have to say, because that's what drives then the business plan and ultimately the return on investment that NASC members are expecting from their trade body. The only way to do that is to be out there. And well, if you're out there, why not get a photo? Why not be involved? Why not make sure that members know we're listening?
Yeah, I think he's definitely it's definitely an improvement. Like you say, there's clearly strategy in place now. Hopefully, we're going to get Sophie on in a couple of weeks, new marketing manager.
Yeah. Sophie's our marketing manager. Joined just before myself. It's fair to say, coming back to the strategy, we've now got a new mission and vision that is going to our council next week. So, subject to when this podcast gets broadcast, we may have it approved. I'd like to think it will be approved From that, we've got a strategy, and with the strategy, we've got 8 pillars. We've just mentioned about the communication. Absolutely, communicating with clients and communicating with members and potential members is really, really key. And to do that, we've got to have a great marketing function. So absolutely, I'm sure, not wanting to speak for Sophie and making sure that she's coming on camera, but I'd love to think she'd be love to get on and talk about the work that we're doing in that space. But even more than that, we've got to talk about what and the where of how we're getting membership standards improved. One of the things within our strategic approach is actually making sure that the efficiency and risk reduction that you get by using a NASC member is actually recognised, and that comes back from the audit. That audit, which is painful, I know, and nobody likes an audit. You know, whether it's Achilles, whether it's Construction Line Gold or NASC, you've still got to do that audit. That audit actually gives the credence and credibility, though, of the standards that we're expecting. NASC's committed to doing that and improving those standards. It's committed for the clients of the members. It's committed for growing and improving the quality of scaffolding and access within the sector. So other team members, I'm sure, like Jamie, who is very much part of our audit process, I'm sure would be welcome, I would hope, as well, Isaac.
Oh, absolutely. The more people, more NASC members we can get on and sort of keep the conversation going. Absolutely. Because I've recently, or my business has recently become a service and ancillary products member, and we're getting great benefit out of being a member. And I think when you see membership as being a two-way street, you get involved. We met at the regional meetings, didn't we? So
we did.
Coming into the regional meetings and having, being able to have conversations and influence what's happening within the scaffolding industry, massively important.
Well, it's like a gym membership. Nothing worse than paying for gym membership and not going.
I'm so guilty of that, by the way.
Absolutely. And I've been there, says the podgy Clive. But the reality is you get out of it what you get.
Absolutely.
You put in. And NASC is very similar to that. Yes, the quality of the standards is really important. But guess what? We do a lot more. We can advise, we can guide, we can support. We were talking a little bit earlier before we were live about insurance and making sure that you're well protected, about professional indemnity. We can help with that. We can advise and guide members on what they need. And the classes of membership, I mentioned info member, it's about making sure that our info members who are clients understand how to procure scaffolding and access correctly. I mean, how many clients do you see not buying scaffolding correctly on a regular basis?
I see personally, on a personal level, and you get this blame game, don't you? Client blames the scaffolding contractor blames the client. Client says the scaffold contractor's too expensive. Scaffold contractor says, well, the people that are less expensive aren't following the same rules as we are. The information membership really helps to sort of bridge the gap, because the procurers know, what it is or what they're getting from a quality scaffolding contractor.
And so I would put a call out to the membership. I'd put a call out to the non-membership if they're really brave. Actually recommend information membership to your clients. There's no cost. We will give them information. We're going to making sure that on our magazine that we've just announced today is actually made available to them, so that they're getting good quality information about how to procure scaffolding, how to make sure that the scaffolding standards they're expecting are up to date, how to make sure that if they're seeing something that's not quite right or they suspect it's not quite right, they address it in a constructive and positive way. That actually is about being part of a cohesive, well-run site, be that industrial, be that construction. And that's what we've got to see from our clients. And it's central to what NASC needs to be doing, is talking to clients. Hence, we're here today at NFB's offices, encouraging them to understand that side.
I mean, it's just that much more of a boots on the ground approach now. I've noticed personally with NASC, getting out to the membership, seeing what they want,
Absolutely.
Educating the likes of NFB on what to expect.
100%, and that is a key mission of ours. We will be shortly, once council has approved our business plan, we will be looking to recruit a business development manager. That appointment's going to be the first, several I anticipate. Their role is going to be talking to clients. Their role is going to be talking to the current membership and prospective membership, and being, again, that beating outward face that can actually support organisations, be it that they're trying to procure scaffolding, whether they want to build their scaffolding business from being a small operation to a really prestigious one. We, NASC, are open and want them to aspire. They must meet the standards. We have clear standards. We have got clear expectations of those operations. But equally, that shouldn't be something that's a barrier. We need to help and support them. Those key individuals will be very visible.
Well, again, this seems to be another sort of a shift, if you will, in the way that NASC are doing things. I think in the past, it's been argued, and I hear from a lot of members and non-members, and probably more so from the non-members, that the audit process is, it's ambiguous and nobody knows what's expected of them. It's like, I feel like there's almost this cloak and dagger sort of image of what the audit entails, and it's like, some sort of skullduggery, but it's not the case, and we try to move away from that.
It's thumb screws and it's pain, and I'm joking, of course. You're right. We haven't been as clear. We haven't been as transparent. That comes back to communication. One of our things, I go back to what I said earlier in the podcast, we have hidden under a bushel. We've not put things out as clear and transparently as we potentially should have. Watch this space. We've again announced this week a significant improvement to the process of application. What would take usually sometimes 3, 4, 5 months to become a member should now only take up to 4 weeks. We've got our new compliance officers that are replacing the auditor to actually be more of an advisor. So not only is the written material, because let's face it, the scaffold and access sector doesn't enjoy lots of written materials. We like to talk to humans. We like to engage with humans. So actually our compliance officers are going to be really, really helpful. This is about transparency. Has the standard changed? No. The standard should be about the quality of access. It should be about the quality of scaffolding and making sure that the client, NFB, its members, can actually go, NASC members stand for X, Y, and Z. And what's really, really, really important is every single one of NASC scaffolding contracting members actually meet that standard. We don't have tiers. We have one membership quality. And that membership quality stands for the best quality of scaffolding that is physically available.
I think there's been this sort of, I don't know whether you call it a miss, I'm going to mess my words up here, but like maybe miscommunication or misinformation that, the membership is, it's purposely, and it's difficult to get in and all the rest of it. And, most scaffolding contractors are never going to get in. It's just, for me, I think, from what speaking to NASC and speaking to people like Ian File, I know Ian's one of the auditors for NASC. When you actually look at it, a lot of scaffolding companies probably aren't as far away from membership as they think they are.
There's a hell of a lot of misnomers. I mean, I keep hearing people say, it's an old boys club. The members, they pick who comes in. I can assure you they don't. We haven't been possibly as sensible by actually where our presidential team, who are elected from our council, and our council is elected from our membership, who set and support the rules and regulations. They're doing that, though, as NASC. They're doing that as a very structured approach. And our articles of association, our bylaws, are published at Companies House. They're published on our website. But unfortunately, they look like, it's a bit of an old boys club. No, that's not right. Actually, they've been putting in, and I say the entire membership since the formation of NASC have been building those standards. Those standards have actually driven up standards within the sector. So actually, some of the misnomers and rumours have been populated and supported by us. But what we've actually got to do now is make that transparency and make sure through the transparency that actually we support those contractors that are only a few steps away from being able to gain access, actually growing into and being a very good quality scaffolding and accessing company and actually prospering.
Yeah, I think there's this sort of, a lot of people will say, it's really difficult to get in. And it should be in a sense difficult to get in. But I think people take that to mean that we don't want more people in.
Yeah.
And the two things can coexist. We can have very, very high standards and actively want more people within NASC. The two things can exist together.
Look, we can do the race to the bottom, or we can do good quality. Which one actually is more profitable? Sustainable, profitable businesses. Well, guess what? They come out our standard. They come out those standards that the sector expects. Those standards are actually expected by clients. Now, yeah, everybody can do it dead easy. Everybody can do, if I declare my turnover, I don't have to, VAT register. Great. So you want to be a tiny business for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
Seriously, we need to shed away, though, the complexity. It's not that complicated to actually move those next few steps. And NASC's got to be better at helping understanding through clarity what the membership standards mean, how easy it is to actually apply, how easy it is to be audited. It's not an arduous process. We're enhancing through digitization in the very near future. So where at the moment you have to provide your company accounts, well, guess what? That's actually already publicly accessible information at Companies House. So we're going to automate that in the very near future. So guess what? Even our current members won't have to provide that information. We'll be able to access it digitally for them. So it's inherent on us to be good at improving our customer service, our membership service. And so those prospective members that want to join, absolutely, we'd encourage them to look at it again.
Yeah, you can definitely feel the push. And like most of the non-members, maybe they're not an NASC member, but they're still using NASC guidance, they're still using TG20. And if you've got subscriptions to TG20, all of the guidance is there. There's a library with most of the, all of the safety guidances.
Absolutely. I think there's a nuance. There's an important nuance we need to just pick away at there. And that is, TG20 looks at, and that's just one piece of our 135 piece library of the guidance that we provide. But if you look at that, it's about the technical precision of delivery of scaffolding and access. However, what about the business? How it runs, how efficiently it runs, how we talked about professional indemnity insurance, you're protecting your own business. Actually, NASC provides that extra element of advice, guidance, and support. When you look at the talent shortage that we are facing, we are actively out at the moment supporting, and we're doing a large amount of work. Henry, who's one of our team, he's been at and in Wales at a talent show this week promoting scaffolding, looking to increase new entrants into the scaffolding sector. So NASC goes beyond just the technical standard element. It goes into actually the full business support element. And it's really key that we get that message over.
Yeah, I think, if you were to say to most scaffolding contractors, non-NASC members, SG4, everyone would know what you meant. Yeah. If you were to say to them TG20, everyone would know what you meant. You said SG6, I think maybe slightly less. If you started to talk about CGs and PGs, maybe they sort of give you that kind of blank stare, but there's contractual guidances.
Absolutely.
There's product guidances, all sorts of, information. And as soon as you get that, as soon as you're on that e-portal, you've got access.
Absolutely. And this comes back to our digital agenda. I mean, we've got to make NASC less difficult to understand. We're about to launch, as I mentioned, a health and safety guide around mental health. It's a major important subject every day. And I think we're it is Mental Health Awareness Day today.
It was Mental Health Awareness Day, World Mental Health Awareness Day yesterday.
Yesterday. I love it when the days just fly by. We recognise that. We need to make that actually more accessible, more visible. And we're looking at ways we can do that. And again, I'd encourage members, prospective members, to let us know if there's a better way we should be presenting them. Please do. I think the other aspect, though, is making sure that where we do digitise. The way currently NASC operates is very much around sending PDFs out and very binary, transactionary base. But
and as you said, scaffolders, perhaps not the way we like to absorb information.
Absolutely. And one of our strategic pillars is to be more digital. And so watch this space. I'm extremely excited about the direction of travel we're going around system scaffold. We've got to support that area digitally. We've equally got to expand the e-portal. The toolbox talks are great, but we can do better. We've got to make them more energized. We've got to make them more user-friendly. Actually, we've got to make them more accessible to your members of staff. If a member is accessing this, why on earth aren't we giving them all access to the e-portal? So guess what? They can access their own toolbox talk.
I think that's a definite step in the right direction, because I mean, we do in the industry, we do a lot of proactive toolbox talk, and rightly so. You know, it can be used and is often used as a reactive measure. The toolbox, so, you know, if something's happened within the business that you need to address and, you know, pull people in on and galvanise people around a certain sort of topic, the toolbox talks are a great resource for that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So to have them on the e-portal, another massive step in the right direction.
And we've just got to keep on innovating. I keep saying to the team, continuous improvement, continuous improvement, continuous improvement. We are moving towards 9001 UCAS accreditation. We are looking at 1401. One of our strategic pillars is to be far more environmentally focused. Next year, we will be looking at launching an ESG committee. ESG is going to have some very profound impacts on the access and scaffolding sector, not only with what clients, especially larger clients, are expecting, but also if you're looking for investment, if you're looking for finance, it's inherently more advantageous to be recognised in your own ESG capabilities, representing them to the bank, because you get cheaper interest rates, often 0%, because banks are actually making an incentive now to make sure that you are actually a carbon neutral business. The sooner you can progress and identify that, NASC needs to be on the forefront of that in supporting the access and scaffolding sector, providing you with the information as a business to actually be able to make that transition. Because guess what? If you can add 1%, 2% to your margin, why would you not?
I guess it's almost like the analogy would be like to the double glazing. Do you know what I mean? It might be, there is going to be a cost attached to getting your business into a position where it's moving towards being carbon neutral or getting to carbon neutral. But once you've achieved that, then the savings and the, you know, access to
absolutely
better rates and whatnot are there.
But it's starkling. ESG, let's pick, ESG is all about not just energy saving, it's also about your social values and your governance. If you pick your social values, the amount of scaffolding and access companies I see sponsoring their local football team, well, that's your social elements already doing. I'm seeing access and scaffolding companies already doing that work. All they've got to do is bring that together. And guess what? You could be making a saving on your finance costs. We've just got to help. NASC's got to help explain and actually give that information. And watch this space. We're going to make sure that that's accessible, make sure that our members actually have the capability to make those additional savings.
That's more podcasts, that sort of
more podcasts. Happy to help and happy to spread the love, as they say.
Yeah. Well, it's been fantastic having you, and I appreciate that we've kind of dropped in on NFB, and they've been superb in putting us up and giving us access to a lovely ballroom to conduct an interview.
They have. Thank you.
Won't take too much more of your time or NFB's time and space. Any final messages for the members?
Watch this space. NASC is an amazing organisation. It's got to go on a journey, and that journey is going to be quite exciting in supporting the membership, growing their businesses, but also becoming actually more accessible for the entire scaffolding access sector to prosper. And it is about clients recognising the power and benefit of being a NASC member. So watch this space.